We are the Movie Marathon Men, and we watch films that make us go, Megalop. We can't just keep saying the same joke. My gosh. How tragic is that we have the exact same humour? I often think that these videos are just for us, but they're also for you, our fan. Our fans! Because today we're giving you a review of what we were touting as Megaflopolis. Well, we weren't wrong, were we? How's it done?
Not well.
Branny Baby's bankrupt again. So he self-financed this passion project, or vanity project, as you'd actually call it, $150 million from his own pocket, because every major studio that he touted it to said no. So he self-financed this film, and it was his vision that he's been reportedly working on since the mid-70s.
Yeah.
And just to give context, what films was he working on in the mid-70s?
In the actual mid-70s.
Yes.
In 1974, he released The Godfather Part 2.
So he was at the top of his game, basically.
What he should have thought when he sat down in the year of our Lord, 2021, and went, should I yet again try and make Megalopolis? And he went, that younger version of me said no. The one from the mid-70s. He probably should have
reckon it was probably a bunch of studio executives that said no.
He probably should have sat there and gone, the version of me that made The Godfather Part 2, The Conversation, and Apocalypse Now said no to this. He was wrong.
But Luke, time stop and think about the world that he found himself in. There's a new discourse. I had nowhere to lead with that. I just wanted to say time stop.
He hosted a screening party for, I think, the heads of every different studio to try and get someone to buy this.
Yeah.
And then I believe they all said no. But part of it was he wanted a big, massive marketing rollout.
Yeah.
Which he got. In the end.
Well, from AI.
Yeah.
So they first marketed the movie with headlines that were AI generated, and then they forgot to change them, I guess. Then they put them out accidentally, and it was just like reactions and reviews that just weren't real.
So he, of course, he cast a lot of people in this film that have been cancelled.
Yes.
And part of that was he
did that on purpose.
He did it on purpose because they've been cancelled. The funny bit of him putting up sort of faked quotes to suggest not that he'd been cancelled, but that, by movie critics he'd been cancelled, as in you making bad films.
Yeah.
He put up fake quotes of them saying that he'd done a bad job, just to turn around and be like, "Look, I did a great job." It sort of, I think, is a larger metaphor for cancel culture. For him to pretend to have been cancelled to market his movie, where he's purposely put cancelled people in it.
Yeah.
Only to just be wrong. And people go, no, actually, we liked it when you made good films.
Yes.
So yeah, this film did terribly. And we've taken 2 weeks off, basically. We're not rushing this review out.
No. We were in a really good screening.
Yes.
The audience clearly knew the assignment. Everyone was laughing because the film is nonsense. So the film is at once the past and the future. It is at once a high Shakespearean drama and a low-brow, campy comedy,
like soap opera almost, in the way people are acting.
Not a single person in this film is acting in the same movie. So the cast, to talk about a bit more, you've got people like Lawrence Fishburne, Aubrey Plaza, Adam Driver. Those three do a good job.
They do.
And so does John Voight in a way, but he's very unhinged and very different. He does what his character needs to do. There are people like Dustin Hoffman who are just in it and do nothing. Yeah, and it's like, why are you here?
This film does,
and he had to pay Dustin Hoffman prices for nothing.
There's so much in this film. When I was a dumb child rather than a dumb adult, I'd watch films just because we mentioned it, like The Godfather, and you would, because your attention span was so short, and you would just be there for the cool scenes. You'd sort of lose out on the machinations of the actual film. You'd see a scene where two people are arguing, and you'd be like, "Yeah, go insults, fun." But you'd sort of forget why they're actually there. Then you watch it when you're an adult, and you go, "Oh, it makes so much sense. He's trying to manipulate him into signing a contract to do this, to do this." This film kind of had a similar feeling to like when I was watching a film like as a child.
Yes.
Where Dustin Hoffman would come in and be like, "Have you seen the paper?" And you turn it around and it would just say like,
Giancarlo Esposito was in this movie as well.
Yeah,
I forgot that.
So like, but people would be explaining things that are happening.
Yeah,
and they'd all go, "You know what this means?" Cut to new scene, and I'd go, "No, I don't." Like it felt as if I was an idiot whilst watching the film.
Scenes would not lead into the next. They would be entirely unrelated. At one point,
and this is unrelated.
Two
characters that get together,
and apparently they're dating. At one point, and this isn't really a spoiler because it's not actually an important plot point, because someone is shot in the face at one point.
I thought you meant to talk about. I've got another one. Also, like,
but then a scene later, they're fine.
Yeah.
Well, no. There's one scene where they're a bit weird.
Yeah.
And then the scene after that, they're fine. Because
of the pace this film is inventing ideas and forgetting about them.
Yeah.
It took me a while to remember that had just happened. What is going on?
Yeah.
The bit that I was going to talk about is the part where there's an apocalyptic event halfway through the film when a meteor hits the city.
Yeah.
Was what?
No, it was fine in the end.
True genius is often misunderstood.
I don't know what the real plot was apart from Adam Driver wants to build a city. People don't want
with the height of modern technology. Travelators. Just conveyor belts. Like, and you said,
this is real?
And you, when we watched this, you'd just been abroad. Yeah. And you were like,
they have those in airports. I was just on one. Like, you don't understand what the stakes of this film are.
Well, you went to the toilet at one point.
It's during a drug trip. And
came back and had to ask me what had happened. And I said he got high, there were trapeze artists and something else. Like, it was quite weird. Like, you would just leave and just nonsense was happening. I would say one of the things that I was disappointed with this film is that something that it did well, because every now and then it looked incredible. You know, the hand reaching out to grab the moon, things like that looked amazing. But oftentimes it looked abysmal, very clearly like it was shot on a backlot. Every now and then there are glimmers of good ideas.
I would say at no point does this film even sort of come close to being well written. This feels like a film that was 5 hours long and he was told edit it down to whatever it ends up being. Like, is it nearly 3 hours?
It is quite long,
but like,
as well.
It feels like an edited down film, but they've not cut any of the plot lines. Like, they just left them all in.
At one point, it does Spider-Man 2 because he loses his superpowers.
Yeah,
because, yes, the main character has superpowers.
He has superpowers. That's never explained. And so does the one other person. A lot of this film rides on buying a love story.
Yeah. No.
One filmmaker has always been ahead of his time.
There are 2 name drops of himself in this film. I believe he
yes,
Francis twice.
Yes, he comes up with possible names for children, and if it's a girl, it's Angel, Girl, Delight, Wonderful Angel, Perfect Little Girl, and if it's a boy, Francis.
I just don't know what was going on, and I think that's an issue.
Wait, was that Francis speaking just there?
How do you take 40 years, 50 years to write a script and forget?
I feel like there must have just been loads of passes made at this script.
He made loads of passes on set.
He did, yeah. He was also desperate for this film to not go well with his own behaviour.
Yes.
It's just mad. It's incoherent. It's ugly often. It's performed badly often.
Yep.
5 stars.
From visionary writer and director Francis Ford Coppola, one filmmaker has always been ahead of his time. True genius is often misunderstood.
All of the funny bits are actually quite hard to pick out as being funny. The plot isn't there. This film doesn't...
most of them, weirdly, are for Jon Voight.
I feel bad about saying this, and you might disagree here, because I'm not that firm on the opinion, but... Did Giancarlo Esposito do? He was obviously terribly directed. Of course, he had no help at all.
Yeah, I
didn't massively enjoy his performance.
Oh, he phoned it in, absolutely.
But so he did a lot. Like, he pushed, he went directions.
Like, I actually can't really remember. I mean, cut back to the start of this video where I forgot that he was in it. Oh yeah, Giancarlo Esposito was in this movie as well. I forgot that.
His opening line is something like, "I like trees as much as the next man."
Yeah, as much as the Nest Man.
Film idea, Nest Man. A horror film stuck in trees. Everyone spends the whole time just so this scene at the beginning, which is to establish the plot, you're introduced to every character, like someone's in the club, someone's Adam Driver's time stop. Giancarlo Esposito saw his daughter in a newspaper.
Is he a mayor?
He's supposedly in charge. John Voight and Shia LaBeouf and some other people have scenes to establish them being weird bankers or whatever.
Yeah.
And Dustin Hoffman's around, and then they arrive on some scaffolding.
Yes.
That's sort of moving around,
which is like a public forum, which is being
scaffoldings area.
Live reported on by Aubrey Plaza as
Wow Platinum.
Wow Platinum.
This is where the plot is being explained, and you learn nothing.
Yeah.
Also, why is this freelance architect seemingly in charge of the city? Because the mayor goes, "You can't do this," and then he goes.
At one point, he blows up a building, and everyone's well annoyed at him.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And then, how are they? What is going on?
Yeah.
Like, why are they?
You've gone too far this time, and he's like, "No, I haven't." It's like, I think you have.
You're just an architect.
You blew up a building.
You can't just blow stuff up.
Oh my gosh! And there's a bit where Nazi imagery is invoked for no reason.
Yeah.
There's just a swastika on screen, but for just no reason.
No.
True genius.
How long a standing ovation did this get at Cannes? I just would love to go to Cannes just to watch all these fake people, because they're all just like giving films like this a standing ovation. It's like, but that was awful.
Do they count like the queue to leave as part of a standing ovation?
People are like in the queue to leave, like yeah, woo, woo, yeah. Come on, guys, there's a real bottleneck here. Yeah, come on, get out, please.
Oh, Francis.
Well, I don't think that I have no more to say on this. I've got nothing.
I don't think I have no more to say.
It's sort of word salad from talking about this. I've got nothing left.
True genius.
We've been the Movie Marathon Men. We will return with more film reviews. We'll do a Sony Spider-Verse one soon. There's
when they eventually release Craven.
Yeah, Venom's out at the moment, so we'll go watch that. But then Craven will come out, so we'll talk about that. The reason I'm thinking of that is because that's probably going to be awful.
Yes.
So that's just on the brain. We might review some decent movies. We'll see.
Some need to come out first.
Yeah, so something needs to happen. We've watched some good stuff, but we've enjoyed this because it's fun to rail against something every now and then. Well, yeah, the best way to see what we're doing is to like and subscribe. That's how you get to see everything that we're doing here. But until next time, I've been Owen Garner.
And I've been Luke Carr.
Goodbye.